So, care to discuss your bench, taking out all 5 starters there? So.
Yeah, it's a big deal, right? Yeah, sometimes, it just doesn't look right, and it didn't look right. It's, like I was saying earlier, it's gotten to the point where coaching, you just make suggestions now. You can't tell people what you want them to do. You just make a suggestion. If they want to do it, they do it. If they don't, they don't. So I suggested that they sit down. So we were even 1-1. So, got a very immature team, I think. And it shows up in, the inconsistency at times. I think the fact that USF was down so many players, I think the collective mood of the team going out there probably was, we don't really have to get up for this game. They're really depleted, which is a sign of immaturity. What can I tell you? It's as simple as that.
Krista, she attempted only 2 shots all day. Is that, what do you chalk that up to? Share a little bit of his being young.
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, she don't work really, really hard at it. So that's got something to do with it. I think that the sign of a really, really good player is someone who can have an impact on the game when they don't necessarily shoot it. They can do other things to help your team win. And players sometimes have to learn that. There wasn't going to be a lot of shots today. And we were trying to speed up the game so that there would be. I mean, we knew exactly what South Florida was going to do, because I would do the exact same thing if I was in Jose's situation. So they were just going to, run the shot clock down, and we're trying to speed it up. And when you speed it up, you get more things done, you get more people involved, and we weren't able to do that in the beginning for a lot of reasons, I guess. And once we started doing that a little bit better, then, but, our program generally has been, we talked about this, our program generally has been built around our defense, where we're able to dictate defensively more times than not what we want the other team to do. And we can make them play the way we want them to play. And it's getting harder and harder to do that these days. And today, was very difficult to accomplish what we tried to accomplish. And again, it's days like today where you really miss Gabby and Kia. Because they were the 2 people that could make it happen. And we didn't replace that. So we don't have the same ability to do that. And we got outworked, and we got out hustled, and we got, all that stuff today. I mean, they killed us on the boards, they offensive rebounded the ball to death. And I just think we were lousy today, to be honest. And a lot of credit to South Florida, like Jose was just saying. They've got to deal with what they got to deal with. But if they play hard and they compete and they do what they did today, they're going to win a bunch of games in our league. So my hat's off to them.
Geno, what did you think of the effort of that second wave of players, and what were you hoping that the starters saw and learned in watching them?
I mean, the interesting thing is that I think that second group probably was shocked that they all went in that early. So, they may have not been emotionally ready, but I thought they handled themselves pretty well. I thought they did some good things. Everybody makes a big deal about the substitution, but, realistically, what do you think? Lou and those guys were sitting there going, oh boy, we're not going to get in the rest of the game. I mean, they know they're getting back in. They know they're going to play. So you hope that, we talk a lot about being prideful. You have to take a lot of pride in what you put out there on the floor, starting with me and the coaching staff. And I said, so you end up winning a game by, 17 or whatever it was. And, you know that you actually kind of like lost a little bit of yourself. So it doesn't feel as good. So what did they learn from coming out? and watching the other guys play, don't know. Don't know.
Crowd seemed to love it.
Yeah, the crowd loved it. But you know what's funny? The crowd was like, when I took all those guys out, right? Like they were pissed at me, like it was my fault. They should have been booing the guys getting off the court. And then when those other guys made a couple of nice plays, they went crazy. So which is it? What do you want?
During one of the timeouts in the second quarter, Katie Lou went out there and was talking to the second team. Obviously, she got her 2,000 point today. Can you just talk about her growth as a leader on this team and what she has brought to this program?
Yeah, Lou, she came here with a reputation as a shooter, and we were determined to try to make her into kind of a well-rounded basketball player. So I'm not surprised that she has scored 2,000 points because she's always had the ability to make shots. She's making them from a lot more different places now than she did early in her career. Her defense has gotten better. Her rebounding at times is better. But the one thing that a lot of these kids don't have a lot of experience in, I'm finding each year, is they don't have the ability to lead. Either to want to, because you have to put yourself out there, and the ability to. They don't know how. I'm not sure they really want to. And you have to change your personality. So Lou has had to change her personality a lot to become more of an effective leader. And she's done that. And it's not easy to do for these kids today. Very few kids want to stick themselves out there, because once you put your neck out there and say, I'm in charge of this, you're going to open yourself up for a lot. And, I'm proud of her. She's done that. But it's not normally who she is. She's more of a low-key kind of kid that hopefully, it'll become more and more and more and more as the season goes on.
Geno, what did Molly Dent do right today that she hasn't been doing in the recent games to earn the playing time today?
Well, the object was to speed up the game. So we want to get the game going fast. And, I don't know what Molly puts in her cereal every morning, but she's always on revved up a lot. So I figured let me put her in there and let her run around and stir things up a little bit. And she kind of did. She's in there scrapping, for a loose ball or getting a rebound, and knocked in a couple shots. I mean, that was probably the best part of the game, that Molly actually had a chance to experience some success, because she worked so hard at it. So I was thrilled for her. How many minutes she played? She probably played more minutes today than she did all last year. How many? How many minutes?
13.
13? She probably should have played more.
Because when we talked the other day, or whenever it was Friday, about the sort of thing you envisioned for her,
Yeah.
this was kind of it.
20 minutes she played. No, how many?
21.
20 sounds better.
Molly Bent.
21. 21.
Wow, 21 minutes. It's a lot. It's good for her. And she missed the free throws, which, I was surprised, because she spends a lot of time working on her game. And when we recruited her, I thought, any kid that works really, really hard, you root for them and you hope that they continue to get better and that you can find a spot for them. Usually in our program, there's always been a kid like that, and we've always found a spot for them. So I'm hopeful that, going forward, that this could be pretty good for her.
I know it's going to sound ludicrous, but you've always wanted to have a good scorer, somebody who changed the game coming off the bench. is it even possible that you could consider starting Molly and bringing Kristen off the bench because she gives you that scoring punch?
Well, I mean, if I was really interested in bringing somebody off the bench that's going to take 2 shots and not score, she would be my first choice. But right now, you know, I don't see that happening right now. That's not to say that it may never happen, but I don't see that happening just yet. I think Kristen's got to figure out something to do other than just score. And, you know, by putting her on the bench and then bringing her off and saying, go score, we're adding to the problem that I'm trying to fix.
Geno, can you talk a little bit about the team's defense being able to force turnovers and wreaking havoc today?
Well, obviously, when you're playing a team who's, you know, top 4 scorers or whatever it is are not playing in the game, you know their points are going to be hard to come by. And our defense, as I said, you know, we lost 2 great defenders to graduation, and we haven't replaced them. So today, the reason why they got how many? What was the final? These new stat sheets suck, by the way. Whoever came up with these are lousy. So they scored 46 points. So, you know, we knew they were going to have a hard time scoring. So their 46 was some a result of our defense and a lot of result of, you know, they're not putting a lot of really good offensive players on there. Our defense wasn't very good today. And, you know, our defensive rebounding wasn't very good today. So I don't think we're proud of anything today.
Another thing that seems to have dropped off, really beginning with Baylor and on, is your three-point shooters aren't hitting their three-point
Right.
shots.
Right. And that's why,
Is there any explanation for that?
yeah, they're not going in.
That part I knew.
Yeah. Sometimes your eyes are actually telling you the truth. They're not going in. It's like, you know, baseball teams that go 2 weeks and they're in a hitting slump. You go, how's that happen? Good pitching. Well, there used to be good pitching before, and you hit them. So sometimes you just don't make shots. It's not like they're taking bad shots. They're wide open shots. And they're just not going in. And another reason why we should work harder to go offensive rebound, which we don't, because we make a lot of shots, so we don't have to offensive rebound. So there's you know, there's a difference between not getting good shots and then missing wide open shots.
But if you're missing wide open shots now on a regular basis, is there
Yeah.
something else going on other than you're just missing shots?
Yeah, I know.
Katie Lou is now 100 points less than her percentage is 100 points less than last year. I mean,
Yeah.
down to, you know, under 400. We haven't seen that since she came.
Yeah. You know, a lot of it has to do with, again, it's hard to get wide open threes in your half court offense. And a lot of threes that people get in games, they come either in transition or off of offensive rebounds that you kick back out. So those 2 things aren't happening. So you don't get as many attempts. But I don't ever worry about Lou missing shots. I don't worry about that. She'll make them when she has to make them. I mean, Crystal, I don't think Crystal missed a shot Friday and Saturday in practice. Not a single one. And she didn't make any today. Beats me. What do I know? I just make suggestions. Hey, you should make a couple of those. That doesn't mean they have to.
Any concerns going back on the road for whatever it would be 5-6 days? You know, since you're not coming back from New Orleans, you're going to go right to Philadelphia.
Not really.
Right? Or are you going to stay in New Orleans and?
Yeah. Well, it's not going to be rushed, so it's not like it's, you know, one thing. It's kind of a low-key trip, you know. You know, we've got. It's good the way it's spaced out, so I'm not worried about it. Not at all. I mean, even if I did, there's nothing I can do about it.
Geno, do you think teams just tend to run into days like this once a year? Last year, I remember it was maybe a 15-point victory over Tulsa. You came and sat right there and said, worst effort in 33 years.
Yeah, I remember that.
Is this one of those days? Is this
You
the
know,
latest worst performance in program history?
Yeah. Rebecca used to say that to me. She goes, who's the worst post player in America on your team this year? Because I used to call her that, and I called Kara that, and I called Stephanie Dolson that. You know? No, I've always said, right around this time, it sucks. Because they've been sitting around for a long time in hotels, their apartments, no going to school, nothing. They don't do anything. And I think it catches up to you after a while. So yeah, I think that's partly it. But again, I think you've got to be a little more mature than that. You know, you've got to be a little more mature than that. That's the only thing I can think of. You know?
Anything else?
I'll take some suggestions from you guys if you have any. I mean, you guys haven't lost a game coaching, right? You're all undefeated. You're the only guys that have won more games than we have. Well, some of our fans, they haven't lost a game either. But other than that. All right, let's go Eagles.